Good afternoon. My name is Jose Garza, and I'm running to be district attorney. And throughout the course of our campaign, we have talked often about the fact that stability equals public safety. What we know is that when people have good jobs, when they have good schools, when they can support their family, that makes all of us more safe. But during the last few weeks, the coronavirus crisis has threatened the stability of our communities. Approximately 500,000 Texans have lost their jobs in the last couple of weeks, and small businesses, the backbone of our economy, are struggling. We all have a responsibility to stop the spread of COVID-19, and that means sheltering in place, and it means adopting social distancing practices to keep our community safe. But it also means that we have a responsibility to support the members of our community who help provide so much stability. So today I'm really grateful to be partnering with Black Star Co-op and the Texas Beer Company to talk about the ways that you can continue to support small businesses in our community to ensure that we continue to have stability and safe communities. I'm really grateful to be joined by my friends from two of my favorite small businesses here in Central Texas, Jody and Andy from Black Star Co-op. And Jody, you are the manager at Black Star, is that right? What is your title there?
I'm the business team leader, and Andy is the beer team leader. So because we're a co-op, we work democratically with each other, and we're basically broken up into 4 teams with respective team leaders for each.
Got it. So you've got the business end, and Andy, you've got the beer.
Yep.
Cool, awesome. And then we're also joined by Amy, who's one of the co-founders at Texas Beer Company, and JD, who is also a co-founder and their brewmaster. The first thing, I love both of your businesses, obviously. I love, your beer, Black Star. I love your environment and the food, but there may be people who aren't familiar with your business. If we could, and maybe we can start with Black Star, just tell us a little bit about like your business story, how you came to be, and the kind of environment you guys have created.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you don't mind.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we are a cooperative. Pretty interestingly, we started, we're going on 15 years right now. We're actually about to celebrate the 10th anniversary of being an open business this year. We had a party scheduled for last week that we weren't able to have. But yeah, so in 2006, there were a bunch of friends and beer enthusiasts that kind of started this backyard drinking social club where they were making beer and, decided that after getting bored with just hanging out in their backyards that they should open a community owned and, workers' rights focused business. So after some time of doing some fundraising and different investing in 2010, we opened our doors as actually the first worker operated, democratically operated and member owned business, brew pub in Texas. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on making it to 15 years. That's a huge mark for any business. And we will definitely have to all celebrate in person when the time is right, and maybe virtually before then. It's an amazing story. Amy and JD, tell us a little bit about how you guys came to be. You guys have built an incredible brand over the last couple of years. You make great beer. Tell us how you got there. And you have to unmute.
The long story short is maybe my dream actually began at a few of those beer socials at Black Star way back in the day. I used to live in East Austin, and I was actually joined both founding rounds of Black Star Beer Cup. In fact, I brought my old school Black Star. But yeah, so I was a home brewer. I was going to the beer socials. And kind of just got into the brewing idea. Both Amy and I and our whole team, we have a nonprofit and political background. And after enough campaigns and enough home brewing, you decide maybe it's time to start a brewery. So we started kicking around the idea. And then one day, Amy's husband, Ian, who's standing over there, said, well, why don't we try to call this the Texas Beer Company? And I was like, I don't know if we're going to be allowed to do that, but let's try it. So the LLC came through. The Texas Secretary of State said, you can be the Texas Beer Company. And here we are.
No one stopped you yet, huh?
Right. No, and our logo is obviously the Farm Road sign in Texas, and that's a publicly available logo. So we snagged that as well, and we've been going ever since.
And our 4th anniversary is actually this weekend. So
Celebrating
4 years,
Saturday.
So lots of good reasons to have a beer or two over the next couple of days. And that's all really good and exciting. But we also have to take a second to recognize that I know the last couple of weeks have been really difficult for small businesses across the country and here in Central Texas. I know that restaurants and bars have been hit particularly hard. And so I also just kind of wanted to check in and see how you guys are doing. And Jody, maybe, and Andy, we can start with you. How has COVID-19, and I know this is a little bit of a ridiculous question because it may seem obvious, but for people who have been in their homes for the last month, tell us how this has changed your business. I'm curious to know, how many folks are on your team who work at the co-op every day. How has this impacted them? What has this meant for your business?
Yeah, I think at the beginning when, they first announced that restaurants would be, because we're a restaurant also, to make that clear, we're a pub and brewery. We have a full menu, and right away we would have to move toward to-go only food and drink, which is awesome that we, along with all other brew pubs now, are able to offer to-go beer. And we're able to offer to-go food, but right away, obviously, not being able to have those in-house sales with people that are coming in and, drinking multiple beers, sitting down with their families and their friends. We immediately saw a very, very steep sales drop as soon as this order had taken place. So we've just been dealing with that, changing our hours, kind of taking everything on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis, but it's just been an incredible struggle with dealing with, sales dropping so quickly and at such an unprecedented pace. So right now, the governor recently allowed dining rooms to reopen with 25% capacity, but the safety measures we don't feel like are available to us right now in order to allow people to come into our restaurant and threaten the health of not only themselves but also of our workers. So we're going to continue with just to-go only, requiring face masks for our employees and the people that enter the building, just to keep everybody safe, and continuing with just social distancing practices as recommended by the CDC. So it's been kind of a whirlwind. We're, struggling along with every single other restaurant and brewery out there right now. So there is some solace in knowing that we're all kind of together in this, but we have had trouble finding the correct resources and, help and relief available to us.
So tell us, yeah, well, I'm also curious, tell us a little bit, like during the normal week, how many employees are typically working for you guys, working with you guys, and how are they doing?
Yeah, before this began, we had 21 people on staff that makes up our workers' assembly. And then slowly we saw people just becoming concerned about their safety and not wanting to come in. So we allowed everybody to kind of voluntarily become furloughed. And right now we're seeing about only 20% of our staff coming to work on a daily basis. And the newest struggle that we've been dealing with is that the unemployment benefits and federal stimulus have been outweighing payroll. So even more people are less likely to come back to work now, even though they're loosening those restrictions. So that's been kind of our newest struggle with trying to deal with how to combat these staffing issues that we've been having, because pretty much like Andy and myself have been working regularly on the pubs and service teams, and so is our other other brewer. He's been working on the kitchen team just to kind of fill in the gaps of where we're low on staff right now.
Got it. It sounds really tough. Texas Beer Company, how are you guys doing? How has this changed your business? You are obviously out in Taylor.
Yep.
It's a little bit different market, but what has it been like for you?
So we have a little bit of a different model than Black Star in that we distribute our beer. So, we're sold in grocery stores and convenience stores and other retail outlets. So that's been lucky for us. So, our day-to-day operations in Taylor have changed significantly. So we were open 6 days a week, and now we're only open for 3 hours a day to sell beer curbside. We also don't sell food, so we're only beer. There's a little bit of confusion around whether you can deliver beer or not. So, many restaurants and stuff can deliver. We only sell alcohol, so that it's kind of a gray area. We have not been doing that, but we were successful in getting some of the federal Paycheck Protection Program money. So we've been able to keep on the bulk of our staff. So that's been pretty helpful. JD manages them. So I don't know if you want to talk about the staff themselves and all of that.
Well, as Amy said, we distribute beer, so it ends up in cans, which has a shelf life. So kind of as this all settled in, we got an order, to stop filling kegs. And so we've been ratcheting down our production because more of it's just going into cans, and we don't want beer to expire before it can even go back out. But now we're gearing back up a little bit. It seems like, as Amy said, because we're in HEBs across the region, we've had I've been saying a leg to lean on. I don't know if it's quite standing, but it's leaning. And then we were doing drive-through beer to go at the brewery, and now we're doing it from curbside at our tap room. We're selling the $24 case, so it's a pretty dirt cheap beer price, $1 a beer, and that's been good. Now we're actually doing the growlers as well. So growlers hadn't been a huge component of our portfolio. People have always filled growlers, but now we're filling a lot. So again, I got my favorite one right here, my Black Star growler. But we're seeing a lot of cool growlers, we're seeing a lot of people, and overall, it just took time for people to get used to the new normal. And we have the same kind of concerns that Black Star has. Is we could be open, but you're only as safe as the one person who decides to not take it seriously. So even with being allowed to potentially start opening, I think we're going to be cautious in the short term, and just we've executed going to www.texasbeertogo.com. People are figuring out our program. It took us, a solid 6 weeks to get that far. So we might just keep doing that for a little bit longer, and just really try to make sure, that public health officials are the ones that are saying it's okay to open again.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wonder, small businesses play such an important role in our communities. You guys do. And there's so many small businesses I know that I love. My favorite comic book shops, my favorite coffee spots. And I wonder if you have, if there have been resources that have been helpful to you as small business owners that other business owners should know about. And again, Jody, maybe we'll start with you guys. We were chatting before we started recording, and I know you have been working with an organization to work through some of these. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And are there other resources that have been helpful to you?
Yeah, one of the biggest resources that has been available to us has been Good Work Austin, which is a local nonprofit organization that really advocates for high road businesses. They've been working in tandem with the Independent Restaurant Coalition to kind of advocate for help in the restaurant and community right now. And it's really an organization that began with advocating for the paid sick ordinance, which happened in Austin a couple of years ago. So a lot of the businesses that come together under Greg Casar's initiative to pass the paid sick ordinance for all Austin businesses, which we were a part of and continue to be a part of even after that had passed. So it's been a great resource. That's kind of like how it all started, and the purpose of it is to really provide for businesses resources into how to effectively treat their workers well, come together as businesses with kind of like shared values and shared ideas. So we actually just got off of a call a couple of minutes ago with about 35 local restaurants and businesses, just talking about how to safely reopen, because that's been kind of the biggest topic of discussion this week with Governor Abbott's order. So, just kind of going through all the ins and outs of it and how we can collectively come together and support each other right now with the things that businesses are going to be needing to open safely.
Got it. So, and it is Good Work Austin. So for businesses out there who may want to learn more, does Good Work Austin have a website? Do you know?
We do. goodworkaustin.org.
Great. Cool. What about you guys, Texas Beer Company? Any resources that have been helpful to you as you've had to adjust your business model and think about, the safety of your customers, and anything that you guys want to share on that end?
Well, we have a pretty strong small business community here in Taylor, and our local Chamber of Commerce has been really helpful. Our local director for that is on all the, webinars all over the place to try to provide us resources. We have a locally funded fund that our small businesses in Taylor can apply for to help pay the rent and that kind of thing. So that's been pretty helpful. What else would you say?
I mean, I think there's just been a lot of just kind of best practices being, there's a craft beer bar not that far from us that is in a similar situation. And we're just talking with each other about what are we trying to do. And then we're enforcing a standard that they're enforcing a standard. And so, it's not like, oh, well, you can go here and they'll just blow it off. And we're working on that. But as Amy said, it's pretty interesting to see how the chamber has pulled that together. It's a smaller amount of money, but for a lot of businesses right now, that's just what they need just to help kind of get going. So in the short term, we're hopeful that as the businesses that have been able to kind of roll, we can be influential in helping the next wave of curbside retail to go figure it out. So we're hoping to help as many of the local businesses around us open up as well, kind of learning some of the best practices. We've actually, fortunately had 5 weeks to figure out. And so as some of these other businesses that have just been forced to completely be shut down go, we want to help them just anything that we've learned, help them just cut the learning curve time.
Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about how you have both changed your models to reflect this new reality, but I want to make sure we get all the details so that people who are watching this and who want to go buy food from Black Star or pick up a growler or buy beer from Texas Beer Company know how to do it. So tell us, Black Star, you guys are now open for now. Is it Thursday? Tell me what the days are and the hours, what you're selling, how we can get it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we're open currently Thursday through Sunday from 3 p.m. to 8:30, and we're doing to go only. We have a very limited menu, but it's basically like all the hits: burgers, avocado club, fish and chips, and then we also are offering several different types of beer to go. So we've got 32-ounce cans that are called crowlers that we can fill of any of our house beers on site. And currently we have I think 3 beers in 6-packs that we had canned from our friends down in the American Canning. So we've got those for sale. We'll fill growlers as well. And kind of, we alluded to this earlier, but the supply chain of everyday food and beer supplies are kind of wonky right now. So we're trying to keep crowlers and 6-packs in-house as long as possible, but those may kind of wax and wane over the week. So trying to offer as many options as possible.
Got it. Great. And Texas Beer Company, in addition to buying your beer at HEB, you said, I think, that people could stop by the tap room. Tell us about how you guys have adapted.
Yeah, we have Texas Beer 2, the number 2 go.com, and people can pre-order and then come pick up curbside from us. It's always fun, even if you're in Austin, to come out to Taylor for a day trip, so you can do that. And JD's been really, and his team have been really creative with what they've been offering. So we've had a bunch of new offerings to like keep people's interest going and that kind of thing. So
yeah, so I mean, we are all of our core beers are at the grocery store, but out here we've been doing some fun stuff with pickle juice and bloody beers, and making it kind of almost like a mixed beer drink and growlers only, and kind of honing a recipe. And then we actually just packaged today our second version and canned for the first time our peanut butter chocolate porter. So it's kind of like a Reese's bar in a can. It's delicious. And then tomorrow we're actually canning some barrel-aged stout that's been in some 9-banded whiskey barrels. And we'll have about 75 cases of that. And then, of course, what's been fun about curbside is we'll also fill a growler. When we were doing the beer to go at the brewery, we couldn't necessarily fill growlers, but we're doing it. And the number one question I get, does it have to be a Texas beer company growler? Nope, you can bring your Black Star or whatever growler you want, and we'll fill it up. And, so we got our beer. And one thing about us, similar to Black Star, we've always done guest taps as well. So we've been able to, I was able to get my grubby little hands on a Zilker keg the other day, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. And so, people can come and get some of what we love. We also have Live Oak and other things up there that, if our beer isn't the beer that you want, but you want some of that delicious Live Oak hep, you can come get it here. So we do 32-ounce growlers, 64-ounce growlers. We don't have a crowler machine, but it's probably good because that's hard to get those crowler cans. So we're just one less brewery actually fighting for those cans.
Got it. And so I recently had one of your micheladas that is like, I think it's a pickle juice one.
Piccolata.
Yeah, piccolata.
What, the piccolata, is that what it's
I
called?
had one the other day. Yeah, the piccolata.
I loved it. I think you guys need to figure out how to get those into a tall boy. That's my only recommendation. But if I'm hearing about you for the first time and I'm thinking about making the drive and I want to know what one beer would you recommend I check out as my introduction to Texas Beer Company?
Well, we won a gold medal at the Great American Beer Festival for our Amber Lager, which was just pretty lucky of us. And so that's probably the most accessible and famous beer we do. But, it's a little malty, a little hoppy, and real smooth on the finish. But if you want it even a little less than that, our blonde is good. But, I'm even as we get into May, we're pumping up the dark beer. So I like my stouts and my porters. I think a lot of people like our stouts and porters. That's the best beers we make.
Great. Awesome. Black Star, I'm a big fan of the Vulcan, which is your IPA, but tell us about some of the favorites that, that people keep coming back for to request. What do you guys love? What are your favorite beers that you've got? And again, if somebody is not familiar with Black Star Co-op and they want to go check it out, what's the one beer they should put in their growler? Tell us about your beer.
Vulcan. I mean, it's all of the above. It's the one that people come back for. It's tasting really great right now. I think these last few batches have been really dialed in, and it's just like a crowd pleaser. It's a rye IPA, so pretty solid for any level of beer drinker. But we've got a nice light, easy drinking Pilsner, Midtown Light as well. We have kind of this amberish spring lager that's tasting pretty nice. So we've got a decent selection right now, as well as like a 9% Belgian strong ale. So if you want to really do it in quarantine times, then come on.
I saw I think it was a Wall Street Journal article that said that alcohol sales are up 25%, during the last 4 weeks. And, the days are hard when you've got kids and you're trying to work, and it's all very stressful. So having a beer or two is a great way to unwind. These are two, we're doing it as we speak here. So I feel I should have grabbed one of mine. I really appreciate you guys taking some time to chat with us, to just let people know how you're doing. A lot of people in this community care deeply about your businesses. They are what make our neighborhoods and our communities really, really vibrant. And you are places where a lot of people work, and where, people depend on you guys being healthy, successful businesses to make all of our community work. So really grateful for you to share a little bit about how you're doing and remind people that they can continue to support the amazing work you do, the amazing products that you create. As I said, we all have a responsibility to stop the spread of the virus. And that means we have to shelter in place. We have to proactively do our part to support local businesses too, though. because we know that by supporting small businesses, local business, we're doing our part to make sure that our communities have stability, and ultimately that makes us all more safe. My name's Jose Garza. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I'll be stopping by each of your locations soon.
Sounds good. Thanks
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I think that's a wrap.